One of the big questions is,
what is money?
For practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, very different databases.
do you believe in crypto?
Digital currency may be an answer, but it is the highly speculative asset.
I do own Bitcoin.
There is no second best.
Welcome to the Crypto Curious podcast, your weekly crypto crash course. Every Wednesday, join us in the dynamic world of cryptocurrency as we cover everything from major news stories to short, sharp news bites. If you're new to crypto, we recommend heading back to our early episodes where we break down the basics and give you a solid foundation to understand the crypto world. Tune in, laugh and learn. It's crypto made easy. My name's Tracy and welcome back for our first episode of the year. It's 2025 and this year is already shaping up to be huge. Loads of news to get through and we're kicking things off with two major deep dives this week. We're going to take a look at the market price updates. Bitcoin is back over 100K and we're unpacking what's been moving the markets these past few weeks. Also, AI agents are on the rise. What are they? Why are they making waves? And how are they reshaping the crypto world? Normally, we would bring you three main stories, but today we're going to give extra attention to these two and then also rounding out the show with our short, sharp news bites, but lots to get through. And let's welcome the boys who are always here with me, Blake and Craig. Good to be back on the mic, boys. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Trace. It's great being back. And there's a lot to chat about. A lot's been happening over the summer period, or our summer anyway, and nothing has slowed down. So looking forward to getting stuck in today.
Back in the studio. Craig, how you going? How's your break?
Back in here, yeah, we had a little bit of a scary dump late December. You guys remember that? But we came back kind of a bit swiftly. But as you said, Trace, it's been moving, everything's been happening. But I tried to take a break from the screen and to enjoy times with family and friends and enjoy the sunshine. So hopefully everyone's rested and ready to tackle a huge 2025.
Looking forward to it. So let's jump in then to our first story. And we are going to talk about the market and where we sit right now. Bitcoin, as you mentioned, did drop a little bit below the 100K mark ahead of Christmas, giving us a little bit of pre-holiday drama. But after 2+ weeks, it has gone back up against above that range now. And we are sitting today at around 102K. So not quite the slow start to the year that we were expecting, Craig.
Yeah, and I think this might be a common theme that we'll talk about this year, but the rally came after the US dollar weakened with reports suggesting Donald Trump's team is considering a pared back tariff plan. So pretty much saying that he's classic Trump doing big talk about tariffs, but maybe the reality won't be as crazy as he has mentioned before. And Trump's on a tangent right now. He's talking about buying Greenland, taking over the Panama Canal, making Canada, another state. I think Trump is going to be the main character of 2025, if I had to guess. But with all these news, Blake, how do you think it affects our crypto bags?
Yeah, most years we see a sell-off before the new year because that's the end of financial year for many other countries outside of Australia. And people either lock in their profits or their losses and to be for their tax returns. And your fund managers as well, they go on holiday. So that's generally why we see a sell-off or reduced activity in the market. So nothing out of the ordinary here. But over the next few weeks, I think we'll start seeing more activity occurring.
Yeah, okay. So obviously we do have a lot going on over these next few weeks. As we've mentioned previously, the 20th of January, we see Trump officially sit in the chair. And then 5 days later, we have got Solana ETF possibly being approved or denied. What do we think of those two things happening and possibly affecting the markets?
Like we were saying just before the podcast, Tracy, there's a new chairman of the SEC, which is the financial regulator in the US, that's going to decide whether or not Solana ends up being tradable on the stock exchange as a traded fund. And it may be the case that the new SEC chair doesn't make any immediate decisions because I'm sure there's more prominent problems. Yeah, there's more prominent problems probably happening at the SEC as opposed to this. And I think we could see this can being kicked down the road. Hopefully not for too long, though.
Your thoughts, Craig?
Yeah, look, I think Trump in on the 20th is going to be huge to see how he deals with the Federal Reserve. I think in December when we had that little sell-off, that all came from Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, talking about the cautious approach to rate cuts this year. So he said it's probably more likely we'll have 2 rate cuts in 2025, whereas before the market was predicting 4 rate cuts. And as well as that, he was also asked about Bitcoin being on the balance sheet. And he said, we can't buy Bitcoin on the balance sheet because there's no law that says that. So that also spooked the market a little bit. I think Trump coming in, he's going to want rate cuts, to be honest, since it's going to be a big part of his strategy is to sort of not prop up the stock market, but he loves bragging about the stock market. He's made a lot of promises on crypto. So it's going to be really interesting to see if all of his promises that he's said are actually going to come, crypto committee, SEC, crypto friendly chair coming through. So I think the stage is set for a very volatile 2025, whether it's Trump mixing his words on a press conference or getting asked about Bitcoin and then being a bull about it. So it's a common theme already happening this year, Trace.
Yeah, look, like you just said then, I think it's going to be a very interesting year moving forward. We've just talked about the stage being set with the macro there. Before we finish up, we've spoken a lot in the past about market cycles. So as we start a new year, let's talk about what point in the market cycle we are right now.
Yeah, Trace, I know we're in the weeds and it's important to realize where we are in the market cycle. So we're about to enter a post-halving year, which is generally a very bullish time in the crypto market. So the last 2 years that this occurred was 2021 and 2017, 2 years that coincided with the last market cycle tops. And what generally happens is when Bitcoin halves, the year after is when we start to see the supply shock that we talk about tend to take effect.
Yeah, so essentially what happens is that there's less supply of Bitcoins being created every 10 minutes. And that essentially means that there's less supply on the market and adoption continues to increase. The supply and demand dynamics often push Bitcoin to higher prices. And it's much anticipated. We've already seen a lot of movement already, but potentially there's a lot more, particularly if Trump ends up being as pro-crypto as he's signaled.
And if anyone wants any more information on the halving, I might put a link in the show notes below to a blog that we've done that will give you some more info on that one. I think we'll leave that one there, folks, and move on to our next story, which is a really interesting one. And we've all been talking about this one loads over the last few weeks. This one is AI agents and the way they are transforming the crypto space at the moment. AI agents had a massive past month and outpaced the darling meme coin sector and have become the flavour of the month, absolutely. These autonomous programs are doing everything from trading and managing portfolios to launching tokens and running decentralised communities. They are now set for an even bigger 2025, Craig.
That's right, Trace. And AI agents aren't new, but they're definitely new to the crypto world. If you want to think about what AI agents are in the Web 2 space, ChatGPT is an AI agent for OpenAI. Grok is the Twitter AI. Bard is the Google AI agent. So what we're seeing now is these AI agents are coming to crypto where you can have a AI chatbot make trades for you, tell her what you're looking for, buy this, sell that. Like, what do you think about this whole new, do you think it's a flash in the pan or do you think this actually has legs?
Yeah, so what's really interesting here is that now people can create parameters for their own AI agents with a particular goal in mind. And what we're seeing is fund manager agents. We're seeing social media personalities, agents with their own Twitter handles and communities. And we're seeing other meme coin AI agents. And essentially they're provided or they're being set a persona that they need to act out, and they're connected to a crypto wallet that they can use and spend, and then they're being let loose on the internet. And now there's a lot of tooling, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of websites now where you can go and create your own AI agent and let it loose in the world.
Well, the big one was Coinbase doing this just before Christmas. So you can jump on there and create your own AI agent in under 3 minutes.
Yeah, and give it instructions. For example, this might be my investing agent, and every time Bitcoin dips 10%, I want to buy you $100 of Bitcoin. And then the AI agent would then make that so you would provide it your credentials or access to your crypto exchange or wallet. And this is exploding right now. It is going crazy. And some of these multi-billion-dollar valuations, and some of them are teaming up with research teams out of Stanford to further evolve. And I think this is what 2025 the big narrative is going to be.
So we did have a few AI tokens out there for the last couple of years.
But they weren't smart AI tokens. They were more infrastructure providers.
So like your Singularity Net and your FET, those guys, but they weren't quite agents.
No, they weren't agents. They were just providing infrastructure for AI services. Now we're seeing these autonomous AI agents being let loose on the internet.
There's really two ways of looking at it, right? There's obviously AI agents that can be used for your own personal trading, but they've got their haters as well. Like people are just saying that it's meme coins that can talk. It's 99% of it is all scams. It's the latest meta. But just to get you a sense of how crazy these are going, one of the biggest market leaders called Virtuals Protocol, which makes it very easy. It's almost like the pump fund of AI agents. Since November the 1st, it's essentially 10x, maybe even more than that, 15x from there. So price sort of follows interest. And I guess if you're the punter and you're seeing your meme coins taking a bit of a haircut, you're looking at what sectors are moving, and AI is that sector right now. But I'm not quite sure about it. What's your general feel? Like,
Yeah, I think this is going to be huge. What's really exciting is to see that some of these AI agents are starting to interact and pay each other for services. Now, a simple example of that is that one AI agent wanted to create a brand, and then they posted like an ad on Twitter calling out for someone to help them build a logo and build a brand. And then another AI agent responded in the chat and said they would be able to do that and then do it for a fee. And then they could completely interact autonomously and start building out basically a small business. And this is 2 months old, these autonomous agents being linked to crypto wallets. And it's just incredible to think where it could go.
Yeah, so I find that really intriguing. So we've got a list here, folks, that we looked at of different AI tokens, and they all do different things. And I think, Craig, you're right. A lot of these maybe are going to go nowhere and maybe don't have the best intentions. But I think there's a lot here that do, that are really unusual, and people have tried to do something completely different. I didn't even know that it was called Frasier at the time. But remember we spoke just before Christmas, Blake, about people were talking with AI to try and trick it to give them the bounty, and the more people that tried, the more money went in there.
So you had to pay a fee if you wanted to try and trick the AI, and then it goes in a pool, and if you trick it, you get the pool of cash.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was each time you tried, it maybe was 500 US, and then when the bounty was broken, I think it was maybe 50,000 or something. I quite like this. I think people are thinking outside the box and trying different things. But what I think we've seen is a lot of these people that have these AI agents weren't marketing them too well, and they kind of have seen how meme coins have been marketed, and there's a bit of a crossover there. They've realised that you need to have some kind of community, and they've gone for that community route.
yeah, and I guess one of the things that I get about it is the AI agents that are trained to, as we mentioned before, they're trained to tweet alpha, look at DEX scanner, see what's interesting. And the thing is that they're going to replace your favorite influencer potentially, you know? AI chatbots, they don't sleep. They can't be bribed with brand deals to shill something. They're always on. They're always looking real-time information, digested in a way that, you know, you and I can understand. But that is what I get. But how many, you know, it depends on how well they go, because there's one that's really interesting, which we'll put in the show notes below. It's called AIXBT agent. That's got 320,000 followers, and it literally tweets like alpha about different coins on there all day, every day. So it's very interesting to watch.
Well, you just spoke about having KOLs, but Luna is another one. I think that she is AI. She looks real, and she's a K-pop virtual influencer.
And what she tweets about crypto?
Apparently, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know what, Tracy, even like bring it back to Web 2, like you were saying, you showed us before, there's fake AI influencers now doing UGC ads, which is a user-generated content ad where someone's trying out a skincare product and they're saying, look what this has done for my skin. And this is all AI now. So if you're an influencer, I'll just think about pivoting, because these guys are coming for the Twitter influencers and the model influencers.
Well, you know what? You can do a complete podcast, okay? You've just bugged it up so many times, and we have to go back and edit it. That wouldn't happen with AI.
Ladies and gents, we are going to replace Craig with an AI bot.
I'll tell you what, I have about 3 catchphrases, so it wouldn't be too hard.
But look, there's probably a lot we could go into on this subject, and we're only scratching the surface, and we're only learning a little bit ourselves here.
Maybe we just quickly talk about AI16Z. So A16Z is a famous VC fund in the crypto industry, one of the biggest investors, Silicon Valley based, and Mark Andreessen, a famous technologist and personality in the crypto and technology sectors. There's been a project dubbed after them called AI16Z, and it's an investment DAO. So that started off with $50,000 grant in a wallet. And the AI's mission was to build this out and to make as much money as possible. And it tweets on Twitter. It's tapped into like some services for automated trading strategies, and it also makes standalone investments. And they've partnered with Stanford Research Center, and this is built on top of a platform called ELIZA. And ELIZA is a platform where anyone can go and create an AI agent. And this has a $2.5 billion market cap. And the thesis here is that, are these going to be better than fund managers? You know, do we see a future where these don't sleep, they got more resource capacity, and they can process more data? Can these replace fund managers in the future? And I think it could be the case.
The one concern was, is there still some kind of poor decision-making that happens with no human oversight though? Or is it meant to be that there's perfect?
I might point out that these AI agents, they're continually learning from their mistakes, you know, and not just their mistakes, other AI agents' mistakes. So yeah, I think there is the opportunity for them to have issues, but I think there's a compounding nature of these becoming so much better than them other actors in the ecosystem.
This is low-key freaking me out a little bit. I feel a little bit out of the weeds on this.
Well, look, there's so much to learn. And like I said, I'll give you this stat too. So the sector's current market cap sits at $13 billion. And it's projected to triple by 2030. Yes, so look, obviously, folks, we believe that AI agents and AI in general are more than just a trend, but we'd like to know if you've gone down that rabbit hole and had a look at them. And if so, tell us what you think. Jump in the Facebook group and maybe we'll start a bit of a discussion. But no doubt this will dominate the discussions on the podcast over the next 12 months. Let's move on now, and we will probably take a break there actually and come back with our short, sharp news bites. Welcome back. You're listening to the Crypto Curious podcast, and now it's time for our short, sharp news bites brought to you by the Bamboo app. But before we do jump in, we want to give a huge shout out to all our new listeners who joined us last year in 2024. Welcome to the podcast and our Crypto Curious family. Be sure to join our Facebook group where we put some different bits of news that perhaps didn't make it into the show. We want to really encourage people to put some questions in there this year and get some conversations started. So again, if you're new here, we'd love to hear from you. Get in there and ask some questions. But again, let's jump on to the show. Who wants to go first with our short, sharp news bites?
Me. So the Pudgy Penguins Pengu token surges 26% in the last 48 hours. So it pushed its market cap to $2.8 billion and actually surpassed Optimism's OP token to become the 58th largest crypto asset. There's a couple of reasons for this rally, in our opinion. One is rumors of potential partnership between Pudgy Penguins and Pokemon, which is a huge Web2 brand. And the second reason is they're actually launching an L2, the Pudgy Penguin team, called Abstract. So the rumor has it that potentially Pengu and Pudgy Penguins holders could get another reward from the Pudgy team. So let's see what happens there.
Interesting. What's up next, Balake?
All right, next up, Dogecoin to $1. So Galaxy Digital, which is a large kind of investment bank kind of crypto firm, and they do a lot of different stuff in the space, and they have predicted that a Dogecoin could reach the $1 mark. It's currently trading at about 39 cents, up 26% in the past week, trailing Cardano as amongst the top 10 gainers. But the head of research, Alex Tom, projects that it'll hit $100 billion. And this was part of our predictions. And it's great to see that.
We're on par with everyone, yeah.
Hasn't happened yet.
All right, next up.
Okay, for those playing along at home and keeping tabs on Do Kwon, the Terraformer Labs founder, all part of the Luna crash from a few years back, he's pled not guilty to the fraud charges in a Manhattan court after being extradited last year from Montenegro. The charges include securities fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering related to the $40 billion collapse of Terra Luna's USD. That was crazy. So just pop that one in there as we keep an eye on that story. All right, what's up next?
Ethereum's 2025 upgrades to watch. Ethereum has a bunch of upgrades coming. Nothing really that interesting, more just infrastructure improvements.
There is one big upgrade this year. It's called Petra. There's an upgrade coming for Ethereum this year. Might be boring to us, but any devs listening, it's happening. It's going to be exciting. It'll mean good things for Ethereum, and there might be some price action. So there you go.
Next up, Tether has lost $3 billion in market cap since they've been expelled from Europe because of the new MiCA regulations. Now, this is really interesting because Tether, USDT, the world's largest stablecoin, worth $140 billion, is being dethroned in Europe because they can't comply with the new regulations there. USDC, which is the second largest one, is going to be able to take market share because they operate under a more regulated regime and they have much better compliance. So, yeah, could this be the beginning of the end for USDT?
Athena 2025 roadmap has been released and their token surged 34%. So Athena is, what would you describe it, Blake? It's a bit of a yield protocol that helps you earn yield on stable coins that they issue. So they have plans to launch a TradFi focused stablecoin with a 10% yield. And they want to integrate their main product, which is USDE, into Telegram's 900 million user platform. So there's two big moves there targeting both fixed income investors and everyday consumers. So Athena could be one to watch for 2025.
Yeah, and we do like Athena. And if you do want to know a bit more about Athena, it might have been around November we did an episode where we deep dived into Athena. I'll put in the show notes or just check, it'll be in the title.
But simply put, ladies and gents, Athena is an innovation in the crypto ecosystem that uses derivatives to basically derive a yield on a stable coin, and these yields are getting very juicy, going anywhere from 10% to 20+%. This is getting a lot of adoption as a result of that.
There you go. And I'll just do one last story to round things out. Anyone who's using Jupiter, they have an airdrop coming in January. And this is a big one, 700 million JUP, which is their native token. It kicks off between the 18th and 24th of January. They'll be rewarding their community for engagement. I think you don't even have to have been swapping that much. So I think you only had to have the minimum swap of about $800 on there. But yeah, so that is a airdrop happening with JUP later this month. That's it, folks. Any last words before we sign off?
Always say thank you to the AI agent.
That's it. Doesn't hurt. Always be polite. We don't need another Sarah Connor scenario on our hands. And that is it, folks. Thanks for listening in and diving into this crypto world with us today. If you enjoyed the journey, maybe bring a friend along next time and introduce them to the podcast. Until then, stay curious and stay connected. You can do that by joining the Crypto Curious Facebook group or our Instagram page. We will be back on that. I know it's been a little while, a bit dormant, but we're going to jump back on that this year. We also have a weekly crypto newsletter. There's a link to that in the show notes below. Be sure to hit subscribe where you're listening to the podcast right now. If you're looking to DCA into crypto, try out the Bamboo app. And there's a code CURIOUS, which will give you $10 of free Bitcoin to get you started. Links are in the show notes below. Bye for now. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.